Well, ballots of soldiers, diplomats, and prisoners are still being counted in Israel after yesterday's national elections. According to reports, all regular ballots have been counted so far. Former Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his allies appear to be headed toward victory. Exit polls currently show Netanyahu with a slight edge over Prime Minister Yair Lapid in what is Israel's fifth election in more than 4 years. So CBS News contributor Robert Berger, I don't know, I added doctor onto your name, but I'm sure you don't mind. You were in Jerusalem, Robert. Really glad that you are here. So at this point, it looks like Netanyahu is going to win again. But the coalition that he is forming that is helping him win looks a lot different than his previous coalitions. Can you talk about what the future government could look like?
Well, we're looking at a very right-wing Israeli government, perhaps the most right-wing ever. And this is because Netanyahu's main coalition partner will be the religious Zionist party. And that commands quite a few seats, 15 in the 120-member Knesset, and will enable Netanyahu to form a coalition. Now, the leader of this party is Itamar Ben-Gvir. He's known for his anti-Arab positions. He is a follower of the late Rabbi Meir Kahane, who decades ago was banned from the Knesset, Israel's parliament, on grounds of racism. And he is, of course, now going to be a key player in this government, taking a very hard position on the Arabs, on Palestinian statehood, and Palestinian unrest.
So we can presume that we're looking at a very sort of hawkish government here. What sort of relationship or what sort of impact could this have on the relationship with the Biden administration?
You know, Netanyahu got along really great with former President Trump, but he's had problems with the Democrats, especially with President Obama, former President Obama. When Joe Biden was vice president, there was a lot of friction in that relationship. So looking ahead, I think we can see some friction ahead, especially on issues like Iran. Israel, Netanyahu would like to see the Biden administration taking a much tougher stance on Iran than it is currently doing, and also on the issue of the Palestinians and peace talks. I don't see this government reopening peace talks with the Palestinians, which is something the Biden administration would like to see. And of course, they don't see eye to eye on what America sees as the solution, which is the creation of a Palestinian state.
And so then could this mean? And I have to stress that they're still counting ballots, but this is what we're sort of expecting. What would a Netanyahu win mean for Palestinians?
Well, I think problems ahead. Look, the situation with the Palestinians, even under the more moderate government that was just in power, led by Yair Lapid, which included an Arab party, the relations with the Palestinians were troubled. There's been quite a bit of violence over the past several months. The Palestinian attacks on Israelis, as well as Israeli raids in the West Bank. So I would expect more of the same of that, and maybe even a tougher line on security from this government should Palestinian attacks continue. Having said that, this government would like to help the Palestinians at least economically by creating jobs and so on, but they'll be tough on any kind of unrest.
So listen, this is all happening while Netanyahu is currently in court fighting corruption charges. I am curious about how he is viewed in Israel. Clearly, there is support for him, and I don't know how this win will be interpreted. Yet to be confirmed. But is this a vote in favor of Netanyahu? Is this a vote against the previous coalition, which was a bit of a mess and couldn't get anything done anyways? What are we to make of this when we have a guy who's fighting corruption charges now?
He is on trial for bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. And that actually has hurt him a lot among the Israeli public. That's why he was unable to form a government in the previous 4 elections. That's hanging over him, that trial. Nevertheless, he is a very polarizing figure. It seems that either Israelis love him or hate him, and he still has a very strong base of support among nationalists and Jewish settlers and the ultra-Orthodox, and they'll support him no matter what. They don't believe those corruption charges, and they still see him as a great leader.
Well, the question I know you can't answer is, will we be having this conversation during the next election? Entirely too soon, but we'll find out. Hopefully everything sticks for this. Robert, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.